Welcome everybody, we're back in a webinar. This time with Zoe Mazaro from Hungryroot, and we're going to learn the ins and outs of the interview process and what they like to see on your resume, etc. So Zoe, let's get started. If you don't mind, introduce us to yourself, your role at Hungryroot, and maybe a background about the company, how it was founded.
Yeah, totally. Glad to be here. Thanks for having me. So I'm Zoe. I am the director of people at Hungryroot. And what Hungryroot is, we're an online grocery service, and our mission is to make it easy for people to eat healthy. And we do that by sending customers curated groceries that meet our standards for health and convenience and taste, along with recipe and meal planning support to make it really easy for people to know how to use those groceries to eat healthy throughout their week. And the company was founded in 2015 by Ben McCain. He had previously been at Groupon, where he oversaw their food and beverage business, and he had come to Groupon through an acquisition of another company that he started called Savored, which was a yield management technology for restaurants. And in founding Hungryroot, what was really important to Ben was to build a business that was based on emotion and having an emotional connection with customers. And he saw a really great opportunity to do that in food, because food is just such a naturally emotional experience.
And where did you go to school?
I went to NYU. I started at Emory, transferred over to NYU.
Cool.
Mm-hmm.
In a window where Hungryroot would be hiring early professionals, where's the best place candidates can go to find those opportunities?
Yeah, so we post all of our jobs on our careers page, which is just hungryroot.com/careers.
Okay, great. And then what areas typically, again, if and when you hire early professionals, would you hire into for that level?
It really spans all different functions. So there might be a position on the operations team, on the marketing team, on the brand team.
Typically, what's the first thing that you and your team look for on a resume?
It does depend a little bit on the position. So if it's a position where there are certain systems or skills that are really important for the candidate to have experience in, I might scan the resume to see if they have that experience first. But otherwise, I'll normally kind of start with the most relevant position and then go to any positions that seem relevant to the position that they're applying for.
Do you ever look at objective? Is objective something that interests you?
Sometimes I don't think that it's really necessary. So when candidates apply to our positions, there's a questionnaire that they'll fill out with specific questions related to the responsibilities of the role. And there's also an option for a cover letter. And so I think that with both of those being filled out, the objective can sometimes be repetitive. And in that case, it's not really that helpful.
So do you all read cover letters?
I would say I read the cover letter last. Most of the time, with the questionnaire, which is where I start, most of the time I'm able to get a pretty good sense of how does this person's experience match up with the responsibilities of the position. And then I'll look to the resume, and then I'll look to the cover letter to better understand, why someone is interested in the position and the company specifically. For us, our mission is really important, and we love to see candidates who also feel that the mission's important and are really excited about the opportunity to work specifically at Hungryroot for that reason. And so the cover letter can convey that well.
Excellent. Yeah, it can. Is GPA important?
I think it's one component of an application. I definitely think it's an imperfect gauge and not necessarily indicative of a candidate's potential. Things that can be more important are experience with jobs, with internships, and understanding the impact and the work that candidates have done in more of a real world setting.
What do you think about candidates that design their resume? Does that ever catch your eye and make you maybe sit on that one longer than another one?
Maybe for a more artistic design role, I would consider it a little bit more, but otherwise, I would say what's more important is just that it's very clear, that the information is clear on the resume. That's kind of, I would say, more important than the design.
Tell us about the interview process.
Sure. So candidates will apply through our website and complete, like I said, a questionnaire, cover letter, resume. The first step of the interview process after that is always a phone interview with myself. And in that interview, we are focusing more on understanding the candidate's background, experience, what are they and what they're looking for next. And so I'll ask questions like, why do you think you're a good fit for this position? Why are you specifically interested in this position? Can you speak to the responsibilities and which you're most comfortable with, which, you have less experience in, things like that. And then after that, there are a couple interview rounds, now all done by video, where candidates will meet with the hiring manager at least twice, and then other members of the team who they would be working with. And then, depending on the position, we also will sometimes ask candidates to complete some type of exercise. So, for example, for customer care positions, we'll ask candidates to do a simple exercise to understand their writing style, their customer service style, that type of thing. But that really is role specific.
What locations do you typically hire for?
So our headquarters is in New York City, and that is the location that we typically hire for.
Are there creative approaches to the application process that you could recommend folks take out, maybe outside of the standard apply, that would get the company's attention?
I feel like there's a lot of ways to stand out just within the application process itself by putting in extra effort to do research on the company, to show genuine interest and understanding of the company and of the position, and by being detail oriented throughout the interview process, whether that's following up and sending thank you notes or different things like that. So there's not necessarily, I don't think it's always necessary for candidates to kind of go above and beyond with some like creative outside of the process thing to catch our attention. I feel like there's a lot within the standard process that can go a long way in setting someone apart.
So what are your thoughts on candidates that might reach out to yourself on LinkedIn, as an example, or find your email and send an email just asking about opportunities or maybe inquiring about life at Hungryroot, or possibly reaching out to members of the team?
I like it. I think that it's helpful, especially I would say when it's most helpful is when someone has applied for a specific position. And, when there's a lot of applications, that can sometimes cause me to kind of go back and see like, oh, did I look at this resume? Did I see this person come in? And for the ones where it is tied to a specific position, I would just recommend, in the email, keeping it brief and to the point, and making sure to include kind of why that candidate thinks that they are a good fit for that position.
What common mistakes do you often see candidates make, either on their resume or in the interview process?
I would say the most common is including too much information, which can kind of cloud the candidate's relevant experience. When I was in college, I remember the advice of make your resume one page. And I didn't really understand, can it be a little longer? Like, why does it really have to be one page? But as someone in a position where I'm looking through a lot of resumes, it really does make a big difference to have it be able to be digestible and concise. And I think the one page rule is a really good rule of thumb.
Totally agree. Zoe, thank you so much for joining us on 8-Minute Webinars.
Of course. Thanks for having me.
Awesome.